If you want to have and see a man at his best, then you have to stay feminine and do less. Because you know what? Men only value and invariably bond with the woman they invest in. So if he's not investing his time, his resources, his emotions on you, then I am sorry to say that you're not the one. And the pattern is that men only value investments where it's hardest to achieve. So those women who say, oh, I want to make it easy for the man to feel my love and just maybe he would stay. Trust me, that's the fastest way to get dumped and used because you've given him nothing to fight for. Hey, wait. I just totally forgot to look glam today. Hey, this is 2025 and we have to look glam. We have to look glamorous. You know what I mean? Glamorous. Hey guys, how has it been? How has it been? So, as always, I come on here and I speak the facts. I speak the truth. Nothing but the truth. And I'm so happy that a lot of women are beginning to realize this shift in relationship dynamics and love and whatnot. We're beginning to realize that it's not so much as to what we give our men, but what our men also what we get in return for what we give. And it has to be 50-50. It has to be scratch my back, I scratch your back. There are no halfways. There are no merry-go-rounds about this when it comes to love, reciprocity, because at the end of the day, you are a lot happier in a relationship where you feel valued. Now, do you know why you will never get a man to treat you right in the best possible ways? And it's not because you're not a good woman, all right? It's not because men are so blind they can't see that you're a good woman and they're wicked, so wicked that they can't treat a good woman right. It's not because of those things. It's because you're doing too much for him and exerting so much masculinity in his direction. Haven't you realized that the men that you do so much for, give your best, nurture the most, spend the most of your time with, are the ones who don't value you compared to the men you do less for or you don't even give a time of day? That's simply because men are not drawn to masculinity. The concept of masculinity is about doing. Masculinity is action. If you want to have and see a man at his best, then you have to stay feminine and do less. Feminine is love. It is warmth. It is understanding. It is having compassion. It is worthiness and loyalty, or call it honesty. Men are naturally attracted to you being, just being, and not you doing. That's because men are the doers. And so they don't want you being them. In other words, they don't want you doing or taking their position as the masculine in terms of energy that you exude. They want you to nurture yourself, exercise, travel, live your life like it's golden. Be love and exude joy. That's the only way that they can feel attracted to you and want to be part of that energy, want to be part of your life as a compliment. And when he's in your space, keep him busy. Ask for assistance. Give him his space to show his masculinity and appreciate him while he's at it. Because you know what? Men only value and invariably bond with the woman they invest in. So if he's not investing his time, his resources, his emotions on you, then I am sorry to say that you're not the one. Now, men may come in here and argue with me on this one, and I can allow that because the truth is that they don't even realize that they've been doing this for decades. They've been doing it for a long time, even from our fathers, forefathers. And women have taken time nowadays to study these behavioral patterns from the different types of men and relationship dynamics that they have had over the years. Because we as women, we have the power to retrospect and figure out what went wrong in every relationship that we have been through. And therein lies the pattern. And the pattern is that men only value investments where it's hardest to achieve. So those women who say, oh, I want to make it easy for the man to feel my love and just maybe he would stay. Trust me, that's the fastest way to get dumped and used because you've given him nothing to fight for. And when you as a woman, you tell some men, especially the ones who are showing you through their actions that they don't want you. They've shown you the actions, but you're refusing to see. And then when you've invested so much on this man and they reject you, you say, oh, look at how I have loved you selflessly. And look at the things that I have done for you, only for you to reject me. See, don't be surprised when you hear him say, I have never asked you to do all of those things. And it's the truth. He never asked you to exert your masculine energy by showering too much love without checking to see if it's balanced or if it's one-sided. The more you do for a man, the less he's inclined to like you or stay with you. And this is a mistake our mothers made with our fathers. And that's why they were unappreciated and undervalued. Make your man walk through it, and you will see the difference in how he treats you. The sooner we as women come to the realization that men don't bond with you based on the things that you do for them, but rather for the things that they do for you, they do for us, then we will keep receiving the cold end of the stick in our homes, in our relationship, in our marriages. And how do you turn this? How do you switch this? You've got to figure out a way to inspire his masculinity in such a way that he is providing for you. He's investing more in that relationship. He's protecting and guarding you. He's taking care of you and your children, your needs. That's the only way he will feel deeply bonded with you. Women, listen. I am not saying that you can't do nothing for your man. No. It's okay to cook for him. It's okay for you to cook dinner for him, to nurture him. But let him know that he has to be there for you to check on the engine in your car if it has a problem. And can he take it somewhere to be fixed? Let him know that you need him to make sure that you aren't cheated by the mechanic guy. He needs to exert his masculinity in that relationship with you. And if by chance he's not doing that, trust me, he's doing it somewhere else. Or maybe you're exerting too much masculinity for him to exert. Two captains cannot sail the ship. You've got to give him room to exert his masculinity. Listen, it's a dance between the masculine and the feminine energy. It's a polarity. So be soft. You guide, but let him lead. You guide, he leads. Do you get that? Your moves have got to be subtle while his are final. Let him know that you need him so that he will show out for you. The moment he feels like you don't need him, you are capable of doing everything, you're capable of handling your shit, that's when you've lost him. Of course he does know that you're capable, but giving him the chance to take over, be king, be captain over your relationship is key to making him invest more in you. Men like to know that they are needed. Because if he sees that you're capable, he will just sit back and let you go on with the doing, the nurturing, the loving, the bringing of bacon, the buying of dresses or whatever, bringing in the gifts. He would just relax. You're the woman who is taking charge. So go on and do that. And while you're doing that, he will go out there and find him some feminine energy that he can exert his masculine authority on. So I urge you that you give him something to value. Because again, when he values you, he will act right by you and your relationship. But if he doesn't value you, he has no problem with losing you or the relationship. And when that happens, you know that you're not on top of his value scale. The point is, men cannot stomach losing something they truly value. So they tend to handle it with care to begin with. And guess what? This goes even beyond women. They can't afford to lose their children, they can't afford to lose their job or their businesses because they place high level of value on these things. So if he can afford to lose you, you're not on his value radar. And you will always know it because they will make sure to show it. Men always make sure to show you whether they like you, whether they need you, whether they want you in that relationship. You will know. You know when someone does not value you. Because when they don't value you, they don't listen to you. When they do not take your feelings into account, and when they do not care about your needs, you can tell if someone does not value you by the way they treat you. So if they're always making you feel bad about yourself, or if they are always telling you to change, then you know that they do not value you. If they're constantly putting you down, if they're constantly saying negative things about you and your work, your creativity, your craft, if they will never offer any constructive feedback, if they will not give you a chance to prove yourself, if they will not support you, if they will not take your feelings into consideration, if you have an idea of what it is that they're up to or what they want, but you're not sure because they're not telling you, you can't tell by their words or actions, then they do not value you. If they never want to talk to you, if they do not want to reach a compromise with you, it's always about themselves. They're always gaslighting. If they're never taking accountability of how they've hurt you or how their actions have hurt you in that relationship, then you ultimately know that they do not value you nor the relationship. Because the man who values you will do everything humanly possible in his abilities to make sure that you guys reach a compromise. Your relationship is intact. There is some level of peace and understanding in that relationship. And if that's not happening, know that his value is not placed on you. It is placed on other things. And you see, the thing is that women were very intuitive. I keep on saying this. We have a discerning spirit. And so we're capable of knowing these things, even right before they act. We're capable of noticing it. But the problem is that we're always too blind, or rather, we're not blind. We're always trying to blindfold our eyes from seeing this reality or from accepting this truth. And the more that we keep staying in a relationship where we're not valued, we will devalue ourselves, and in return, our self-value will diminish. So let me tell you something, right? If you ever got into any relationship, make sure that you love yourself far more than you love your partner. And make sure that you understand that marriage can never bring you full happiness, in the sense that if you go into marriage thinking that your partner is going to be your source of happiness, going to hit the rock bottom, because when your happiness is dependent on a man or on your spouse, when they're no longer there, to meet up with all of that high expectations that you've placed on them, you will crash land and you will have nothing to cushion the impact of that fall. That's why it's never advisable for you to give 100% love or put 100% love and trust in someone, be it your partner or anyone. You have to give 70 and keep 30 for yourself. 30 for yourself in the case where things starts to dwindle. Because whether you like it or not, love dwindles at a given point in time. It happens in every relationship. What keeps you afloat is the respect, the love. It's the respect, the friendship, the bond that you formed during that phase of butterflies in your tummy. And that is why it's very crucial that you form a deep bond with your spouse in such a way that no matter the rock bottom you both hit, individually or together, you always find your way back together. And when you find your way back together, find a way to forgive. Of course, there's some level to which you can forgive a partner's flaws, especially when it has something to do with the marital bed. And, your physical and emotional being or your emotional health. If your partner is emotionally abusing you, constantly gaslighting you, constantly physically abusing you, cheating on you, those are terms for you to just cut off and move on with your life. But if it's other things like character flaws and things that that you could easily overlook because that that's coming from how he was brought up, and it will take a period of time or maybe no time at all for such people who have been formed in such pattern growing up to change, then fine. Find a common ground for which you can compromise. And make sure that the compromise is not just coming from you alone. It is compromise from both sides. Listen, you could create a love that is enviable, but you have to understand how men think as a woman and follow them through that pattern. And I am not saying that this pattern is applicable to everyone, every man. There are some men out there who are just helpless romantic and they're possessive, they're clingy and everything. If you have that sort of man, hold them tight because they're rarely out there. Men who want to lose your freedom for you, men who want you all to themselves. But make sure that when you have that sort of man, he has that mindset that he has to provide, because love is never enough. He has to provide and make sure that everyone stays afloat financially, spiritually, physically, mentally. He's holding his space as an emperor. He's holding his space as a king. He's holding his space as a provider. To top up the icing, if he wants you all to himself, if he can't live a day without you, if he's giving you 101% love unfiltered, then go all out and give him 101% love unfiltered. But in a case where you don't know where he stands, or you have it at the back of you, there is this knowing or there is this feeling that he's not 100% real with you, then that's when you have to hold back your love. So, to this end, balance is everything that can make you sane in your relationship. If you're not balancing the amount of love you're giving and the amount of love and weighing it with the amount of love that you're receiving as a woman, you will be out weighed. You'll be crushed. And that's why many women look so exhausted in their relationship, so exhausted in their marriages, because they're giving too much of themselves. If you don't have who is filling you up, how else would you be able to fill up your munchkins, your children, much less your partner who is not taking out time to fill you up? And this is my admonition to every man out there. Your wife is a part of you. Do everything within your power to make sure that she feels loved, she feels nourished. She knows, she understands where you stand in that marriage or in that relationship. If you don't feel it, make sure that you're not stringing her along. If you feel like you are emasculated in your relationship or in your marriage, make sure you have that conversation with her. And before you have that conversation with her, also check in with yourself to find out if there is any way that this is coming from a place of insecurity. Because I don't know why any man will feel threatened by a woman who is nurturing 100% and giving so much love. Why not find a way to measure up that love that she's giving you with yours? A word is enough for a wife. Anyways, thank you so much for being part of this show until I come your way. And don't you forget to follow my Patreon account. It will be written down on the screen right here and in the description box. That's where we talk about love, sex, and we hit it down. We hit it down, guys. Anyways, respectfully. See you when I see you. Mwah!